Hi, I'm Bert Martinez. Welcome to this very special interview. With me is Dr. Steve G. Jones. Dr. Steve, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me here, Bert.
I'm excited. All right, so today we're talking about setbacks.
Setbacks.
This happens, I think, to everybody. Sooner or later, you're going to have a fallback, a setback, a tragedy, an obstacle, whatever you want to call it. How do you deal with that?
Wow, that's really multifactorial. It depends on the individual, depends on what the setback is, but generally as a hypnotherapist, what I do is I believe it starts with the individual. You have to have belief in yourself. And you were sharing with me before we started filming about Arnold Schwarzenegger telling you that people have to believe in themselves in order to move somewhere. So in order to get something going and keep it going. So that's the idea with hypnosis. You work on your confidence, you work on your motivation. And so when these things do happen, you've built yourself up to the point that it really doesn't matter because you're looking at the overall plan and not just the little battle that you may have lost that day.
I like that. And the other thing is, I think there's a Chinese proverb that with every what do you call it, setback, there's an opportunity there, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yin yang, I think it's what it's called.
Okay.
Something like that.
The balance, the
balance,
yin and yang.
Yeah, yin
There's some
and yang.
proverb that's something like, get knocked down 7 times, stand up 8 times.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Anyway, there's some philosophy out there. Bottom line is, with every setback or tragedy, that there's an opportunity for something better.
Yes.
Equal opportunity, right? For example, one of my favorite stories, speaking of setbacks, is there's these two chemists, and their job was to create the super glue, right? This glue that once it was activated, it would hold forever, kind of thing.
This was before we had super glue.
This is before super glue.
These are the guys who
were charged with coming up with the super adhesive.
It's a sticky situation.
That's right. And they failed. They failed over 100 times. Out of that tragedy, Post-it notes came out. Instead of creating a super adhesive, they created a super non-adhesive.
Non-adhesive, yeah, just because Post-it notes never, if you pull them, they come right apart.
That's right.
So that failure turned into a success.
Right.
Interesting, yeah.
So I think sometimes our biggest failures become our biggest success if we're ready for that opportunity. And then I like what you said about having our confidence in ourselves, because if you're confident in yourself, then you can look at what's in front of you and say, you know what, this is terrible, but I'll figure it out. Mm-hmm. Because you have confidence in yourself.
Right, yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that I fall back on a lot is data and planning. I realize that there are very few things in life that you can't conquer with a little bit of data and a little bit of planning.
I like that.
And you can, if you just take emotions out of it, that can be difficult sometimes.
Sure.
But if you look at something and you realize, all right, that's a setback, but if I just keep doing this, I can clearly see from the data and from experience in the past that this is going to work out. Sort of like losing weight or saving money or making money. You'll have minor setbacks, stock markets like that.
Yes.
Look at the overall picture, things going up over time. So minor setbacks are not really a big deal. Same with weight loss. You'll have little fluctuations, but if you look overall, you see you're on your trajectory. So keeping an eye on the actual facts versus your emotions about it, that can be very powerful.
I like that. So look at it and realize, yeah, it might be a bad thing, but first of all, don't make it worse than it is.
Right. Yeah.
Back to having this plan and looking at the real data. This is bad, but don't overblow it or don't blow it up. And then again, have that confidence in yourself that, hey, I'm on the right path. I planned this out. This is just a setback. I'll get over it. Let's keep moving.
Absolutely. I was wondering with the super glue thing, you mentioned they had a bunch of failures. Have you seen the commercial where they have the hard hat on?
Yes.
And they're suspended from a beam and they're holding onto the hard hat and it's glued to the beam? Is that how they failed? Like they fell? And that one didn't work.
No.
Try again.
Try again. Well, what's interesting is, and this is actually, you can look up the history of Post-it notes, and it was created by 3Ms.
Yep.
And so they actually scratched it. They failed miserably at it and they put it away. But back to what you said, data, they kept the data.
Okay.
So they had the chemical formulation to make sticky notes, but they didn't have an application for it. Because at that time they were given the mission to make something that was a super adhesive.
Right, right.
And the way it came about was the gentleman was doing something with his choir group, and he wanted something that he could stick on the music notes, but that wouldn't stick there permanently. And all of a sudden he made the connection. Oh, I have this data back at the lab.
Right.
And he started
my horrible formula that doesn't stick.
my terrible disaster. So he went back, mixed a batch of it, and it worked perfectly for this sticky thing. And at that time, he wasn't even using notes. He was actually using the sticks that you get from the doctor.
Really?
You know, and so that's what he was using, and that's when sticky notes came out.
Wow. And it changed the world.
It changed the world.
I used one just today. Yeah. Wow.
So, next time you have a terrible setback or disaster, know that it's only momentary if you want it to be. Everybody that's accomplished anything big has had setbacks, had tragedy, has betrayal. But if you have confidence in yourself, if you have a plan, you can move forward, you can move past it, and you can achieve your goals. I guarantee that you were created to succeed. We appreciate you stopping by. If you want to look up information to help your confidence, you can go to stevegjones.com.
Yep, got a recording there. Helps you get in touch with your inner passions. You can bring that out and monetize it. I believe the best way to become wealthy is by finding your passion and then pursuing that as a career.
I love it. And for my own personal experience, I've gone to stevegjones.com and I've downloaded audios on confidence and on self-esteem. I give it to my kids. It's one of the best things out there. And if you have questions about building your revenue or your sales, you can go to bertmartinez.com and I'll be glad to help you there. Till next time, we'll see you then.